G'day guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going through my round 8 tips. Now firstly, apologies for getting out this video late. I know I'm supposed to release it on Monday and there was no game on Monday, so I've been a bit unwell lately, and yeah, that's why I sound a bit different, but yeah, I hope you still enjoy. We started off the round with a Wednesday night game, and we had Richmond taking on Melbourne. Most people know that this probably wasn't going to be the best clash of the round. Melbourne ended up winning by 43. I tipped Melbourne by 20, so I get the correct result, not the correct scoreline, off by 12 there. Then on Anzac Day, we had a cracking clash, a draw between Collingwood and Essendon. I thought that Essendon would win by 11. They don't usually get the chocolates over Collingwood and Anzac Day in the past few years, but a draw Essendon will still take. I guess that technically counts as a win on ESPN Footy Tips. I did get that. By the way, I did get 7 out of 9 this week, so I'll definitely take that. You know, there are probably some games I was a bit disappointed in, but yeah, there was a draw there. Then at Manuka Oval, I backed in the Giants by 9. They were just so impressive. Shockingly, they won by 9 goals. Yeah, this was pretty much a boring game to watch after half-time. You know, the Lions were in it, but Giants just pulled away, and then there are questions being asked by the Lions right now, but I'm happy that I got that. Then this was probably one of my best games of the round, which I didn't want it to be, but I'll definitely take the result. I went with the Power to win by 18. They actually won by 10. Let's just say the umpiring was poor in this game. I'm not saying we were robbed, but, you know, that kick, that mark shouldn't have been paid. It was clearly out of bounds, and there were just calls across the ground that just went there. Saturday, I went with Crows by 23. They actually won by 57. Good job there. Went with Carlton by 5. Geelong have been very impressive, and again, there were probably more free kicks favouring Geelong I thought were questionable, but at the end of the day, when you score 118 and you beat a really good Carlton side, you probably do deserve this win, so yeah, credit to the Cats. Went with the Bulldogs by 13. They actually won by 24. That Freo actually won by 24. Credit to Freo. I always seem to get back-to-back games wrong, and then the others are just, you know, all correct. That seems to happen to me every round, but yeah, not a good Saturday night for me. Sunday, I went with the Suns by 15. They actually won by 37. Good game to watch, though. And without Harley Reid, you never know what could have happened. But yeah, credit to West Coast. They put up a good fight. Gold Coast too strong. Went with the Swans by 33. They actually won by 76 in a real big blowout and a big disappointment. So 7 out of 9, look, I'll take that, but let's get on to the tips. So we do start off our Thursday night with a showdown. We don't usually start our Thursday nights with a cross-town rivalry, but we do, and it is the showdown. Now, obviously, coming into this, the fixture would have had this on the Thursday night, just considering that they probably would have thought Port Adelaide and Adelaide, you know, probably 2 at least top 8 teams would be good to put on Thursday night. Adelaide, very impressive win over North, and Port Adelaide bouncing back after that disappointing choke to Collingwood against my Saints, obviously disappointed there. I'm going to back in Port to get the job done. I think they probably just have been the better team, and the Crows won both their showdowns last year, so, you know, that could change something. And Adelaide, you know, they're in good form. That was a very convincing win against a poor North outfit, but I still think the Power should get the job done. I'm going to back in Port Adelaide by 10. I think that this should be a close one, but I think, you know, Port at the Adelaide Oval, they've been winning, but, you know, it was a 10-point win to the Saints with some dodgy umpiring. You know, even though they did have more scoring shots, they probably could have made the margin bigger. You know, only a 10-point win, then a 3-point win against Freo, so not two strong sides that they've had unconvincing wins, but I go with Port to get the 10-point win again at the Adelaide Oval against their crosstown rivals, the Crows. Then, on Friday night, Carlton taking on Collingwood. Now, Collingwood coming off the draw against Essendon, as you can see, that bold D in yellow. And Carlton, on the other hand, disappointing loss to Geelong. Now, this is the rivalry last year where we know it was a 50-50 piece. Collingwood had a 28-point win in May, and they look like they were the better team. That was when Carlton won, I think, a poor slump form. And then after 4 wins in a row, Carlton did defeat Collingwood by 17 points. They won their 4-game win streak. That was obviously when we know. So this one, I think, could be pretty interesting game. I think it should be close. I think Carlton have probably been the better side that this year. I'll back Carlton in. That's why I'll back them in. I'll go with the Blues by 7. It should be a good game, but I reckon Carlton just the better team, and I feel like if Collingwood lose this, that could make some big implications. They go 3 and 4. So yeah, Carlton by 7. Then on the 4th of May, we have a couple crosstown rivalries. It's the Battle of the Bridge, Sydney taking on the Giants. Definitely will be tuning into this one. I am in Melbourne this week, by the way. I will be going to Freo, Richmond, with some of my family members because they go for free, obviously. And then Saints and North, can't miss that one since I'm a Saints fan. So, yeah, seeing a couple more games this week, not just Freo games, because I do live in Perth and I don't really get to see many Saints games. But yeah, Sydney taking on the Giants. I reckon the Giants, I know I'm doing this very quickly, but I do want to get this video over and done with. I reckon the Giants are going to come. Last year at the MCG, they got that upset win by, I think it was like 1 point. I'm going to go with the Giants by 3. I think we're going to have another thriller, Battle of the Bridge, but I think the Giants, they've just been probably a bit better this year, probably, maybe. Sydney, very convincing win, but the Giants, I think, are going to turn up and they're going to win by 3 points. Then on Saturday night for me, it will be Saints taking on North. Look, if you're not a Saints or a North fan, I don't think you'll be really tuning into this one, but, you know, I'm going to be going to this game. So yeah, I'm hoping my Saints will get a win. They should get a win against an 0-7 North Melbourne, and I just have this nervous feeling that, you know, since it's been really close matchups between these two when it shouldn't have, Saints should have won by at least 30 plus. We've only been winning by under 10 points. We won by 8, then 30, but those were 2 ugly matches. Both of them had under 70 points to either side, even the winning margin. So I'm going to back in my Saints here. I think we should be able to get a comfortable win. Please, can we do it comfortably? I'm feeling so confident. I'm going to go with the Saints by 34. Bit of bias maybe with that margin, but I do think that we have the better team. We've lost 3 in a row. We should bounce back pretty heavily and keep our season just on track so we can still remain in finals. So we have a tough fixture. No excuses here. Saints by 34. Let's get the job done. And it's pretty annoying if we lose to North Melbourne and give them their first win after an 0-7 start and coming up 57-point loss at home to the Crows. Yeah, that would be disappointing, but Saints by 34. Next up on the MCG, the Saturday night, this one will be a good clash between the Cats and the D's. MCG, I think that most people will be probably tuning in to the pre-game, even when the St Kilda North game is still on. I think everyone, if you're not a Saints and North fan, will be clicking the TV on, clicking into this one. Look, I'm going to go with the Cats. They're probably due for a loss, but I'm going to go with the Cats. I think Melbourne, they've been playing pretty good this year, but I think that Geelong are going to make a bit of a statement here and going to win by 15 points. I think that this should be a good clash, and Geelong have won their last 3 against Melbourne, so that does say quite a bit. But yeah, I think that the Cats are the better team. I'm going to back in the Cats by 15 points. It is at the MCG, so that does make things a bit difficult, but I will go with the Cats by 15. They just bet Carlton there last week. Then, ruling out the Saturday night games, finally, there's no buys. I know there was no buys last week, but there's more Saturday and Sunday games on the weekend because there's no primetime Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday slots. So, Eagles taking on Bombers. Eagles, they've been playing impressive lately. A loss to Gold Coast, but let's be honest, the Suns only pulled away in that second half. It was only 3 points at halftime, and I think they kicked the first 3 goals. So, yeah, definitely still improvements for West Coast, and Harley Reid wasn't playing. Essendon looking pretty good at the moment, drew to Collingwood. They probably could have won the game with Carl Langford had to kick that goal with about, I don't know, I think there was like a minute left, but I think I'll back in Essendon. I think that Essendon have been playing better this year, even though Harley's back. I still think the Bombers should win this game. I think they've been playing better. I'm going with the Bombers by 14 points. I think that that's fair enough because I remember last year, a couple of years ago, when West Coast had lost like 10 games in a row, that in 2022 they were poor. They actually came out and shocked Essendon. Now, last year, West Coast were terrible. They lost by 50 at Optus to Essendon. Then they only lost by 1 at Marvel, and that was at Essendon's home ground, so you never know. But I think the Essendon should make a statement and win by 14 points. A good game, though. Next up at the MCG, we have Richmond taking on Freo, I guess. And again, most people for this Sunday morning, you'll probably be watching your Sunday footy show. You probably wouldn't be tuning into this game, but I'm going to the most boring games because all my other family members support Freo apart from my dad. So, yeah, I'm going to go to this game. I do think that Freo should win this game. I'm going to back them in here to let's say a 19-point win. I think they will win by comfortably. I just think they've been better lately this year than Richmond. And look, Richmond are probably due for a little bit of a win. I know I said they'll finish second last, but they've just been playing shocking lately. Against Melbourne, it was bad umpiring, but I've seen a couple of Richmond fans claim the umpiring was poor, and it was, but I think Freo should be the better side and win by 19, even though it's at the MCG. Then at Marvel Stadium, we head over and we have the Dogs taking on the Hawks. You got to tip upset sometimes, and I'm doing it. I think that Bulldogs, they lose games that they shouldn't. They lost to Freo, which they probably shouldn't have, even though it was at Freo's home after a 60-point win. I'm backing the Hawkers to get it done by 11. Actually, you know what? Let's make it bigger. Let's make it 17. I think that the Hawks won this fixture last year when finals were on the line, when Bulldogs lost to Hawthorn and West Coast, two bottom four sides they shouldn't have lost to. I'm going to go with the Hawks in a bit of an upset. This will be my only upset of the round. So I do think that, you know, even though how disappointing the Hawks were, 76-point loss, I know it seems really unrealistic, but I just think there's something in me saying I think some money's back for Hawthorn this week too. So you never know, but I just think that the Dogs, I'm not saying they've been poor. That's why I'm tipping the Hawks. I'm just saying they lose these games they shouldn't. This is where Bevo gets questioned. I go with the Hawks by 17. Then we end off our round 5:10 p.m. I don't know why this time slot's late. I don't believe there's a public holiday in Melbourne, so I'm going there, and I've never heard of a public holiday over there. And there's no public holiday in Brisbane, so the Q Clash, I don't know why it's so late, but it just is. And yeah, anyway, we have Brisbane taking on the Suns. I do think that both sides, Gold Coast have been definitely the better team. They currently sit 4-3. Brisbane, disappointing start, 2-5 after just falling short to the grand final. I think that the grand final curse really isn't a thing, but you look at Brisbane and you wonder, is it really a thing? That their only win really was against Melbourne. They did beat North by 70 points, but their impressive win was an impressive 22-point win over Melbourne. But ever since then, they've just got 2 losses in a row, and they just look back to how they started in their 0-3 form. Gold Coast, on the other hand, they did win this Q Clash, even though it wasn't Metricon, as I like to call it. I do not like that name of People's First Stadium. I'll back in Brisbane. I'm going to back them in. I think they'll need a bit of a response. If they go on 2-6, I'm saying finals is over. I really think that. I know Lions are a top 4 teams, the team that can make the top 4 and really bounce back, but I don't think top 4 is on the agenda. Top 6, definitely. They can win this, but they need to bounce back. I'm going to go with Brisbane to a 21-point win here and get a bit of revenge on the Suns for the Q Clash. So there are my tips, everyone. I went with Port by 10, Carlton by 7, GWS by 3, Saints by 34. Come on, Sainers. The Cats by 15, Essendon by 14, Freo by 19, Hawks by 17, and Brisbane by 21. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Please do hit the like and subscribe button. I know we are at 75 subscribers, so when we do get to 100, I will thank everyone on the community post. So thank you to everyone that subscribed. We are building the channel very nicely, and yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.